All right, we're back here, and as promised, we got the legend himself, Lanny Poffo, with us here today, and we got 10 questions for you.
Rock and Roll Express, back in town. Rick Morton and Robert Gibson against Poffo Mania. Randy Savage and Leaping Landy with Angelo Poffo at ringside. Savage, but Robert Gibson comes back on top. Savage there, look at this action. The Rock and Roll can go.
Okay, so let me start with number one. You began wrestling in the 70s, and you wrestled for your father. Your father's was the international promotion of the International Championship Wrestling in the 70s. Was your father a wrestler also?
Okay, the question was irrelevant. Okay, I started wrestling in the 70s, but I did not start wrestling for my father.
Okay.
Okay, so I started in 1973, and I started wrestling in Paducah, Kentucky, not for my father. And then I went to several places, Atlanta, not the NWA, it was Ray Gunkel died and left his widow, and his widow was Ann Gunkel, and Tom Ernesto, and they ran opposition to Jim Barnett. And then I went to the Sheik. My father and I were teamed up in Michigan and Ohio. And then we went to Amarillo, Texas, and then the Gulf Coast. And then, let's see, from there, this is back in the territory days, right? Then we went back to the Sheik for a couple more years. And then Charlotte, North Carolina for a year and a half. For the Crockett organization, Ric Flair. Ooh, I can't make that noise, can you?
No. Woo!
Okay, and then I went to Nick Goulas. Now, that was known as the worst promoter in the business, but I stayed there 2 years because I was on a guarantee. So he took care of me. So everybody says bad things about Nick Goulas, you'll never hear it from me. And then from there we went to the Maritime Provinces in the summer of 1978. From there we went to, I went to Portland, Oregon, where I met Rowdy Roddy Piper. And he had a deal for me to go to Los Angeles, but I couldn't go because my father said we're all going to join in and make an ICW outlaw. And I said, I don't want to do that. But I had to because I was the youngest.
Yeah, right.
So I put 1/3 the money. So I wasn't working for my father, I was working for myself as a 1/3 partner. We stayed there for 6 years. Then in 1985, my brother gets called to the WWF, WWE.
World Wrestling Federation.
Yes. And we lost a lawsuit to a panda. The World Wildlife Foundation had to change it to WWE.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, it's the way it is. And so they kept the name WWF, and they became WWE. We stayed there. I stayed there till I was there for 8 years. And 21-year career, have no complaints.
Yeah, I bet that Roddy Piper, he was a real character, wasn't he?
He was one of my favorite people outside of my own family.
Really?
I actually wept when he died.
Yeah, I bet. That was something. He was one of my favorite too. Next, you wrestled for the Continental Wrestling Association, and then later with the World Wrestling Federation, otherwise known as the WWF, along with your brother Randy Macho Man Savage. The brother angle was never played in the WWF, and your relationship was never really mentioned. Why was that?
I never asked why. Mine was not to reason why, mine was but to do or die. Yeah. And the money was good. I shut up and I said the only thing that counts is what the bank teller counts. The only time that we were in the ring together is when they made him the Macho King, and they gave me the opportunity. They were going to give it to Lord Alfred Hayes because he's so good at reading proclamations with his British accent.
Right.
And they decided to give it to the genius. And I said, through all of the magnificence, no, that's not the right one.
No.
Let's see. Behold this humble entourage. Their heads are bowed in reverence at the very slightest whisper of one name, exalting in his splendor, which is altogether fitting of the people and the lands from whence he came. False monarchies are commonplace, as kingdoms rise and fall. But I, the genius full of glory and renown, say the Macho Man is everything that everybody, everywhere, would ever want to wear a crown. I say this king deserves a queen beside him on the throne. and Sherry is the fairest in the land. Nobody else is worthy of this monumental honor, the regal splendor of his royal hand. We witness the dethroning of one Jim the Hacksaw Duggan, whose crown and robe are in a state of ravage. I now remove my mortarboard and place it near my heart, and thus proclaim you Macho King, Randy Savage.
Yeah, by the way, your brother was my personal favorite of any wrestler of all time. In my opinion, there'll never be one as great as him.
In my opinion, you're right.
All right. Okay, in the early days of the WWF, you fought as Leaping Lanny. You used to write poems on frisbees and then toss them out to the crowd and pretty much berating your soon-to-be opponents. What kind of poems did you write on that? Could you recite one of them for us, maybe?
Jim the Anvil Neidhart has a crew cut and a beard. I'd say he looks like Elmer Fudd, but Elmer's not as weird. And then I wrestled, let's see, Hercules Hernandez is a mountain of a man. His body is impervious to pain. But all his big decisions, he is leading up to Heenan. That indicates he doesn't have a brain. I know you doubt my sanity for facing such a man. I realize that he is awfully big. But I came here to fight the odds and score a victory. That ought to make Ventura flip his wig. And he says, "Oh, McMahon, what is this? I'm not coming here to be insulted like this," because he's wearing a toupee at the time.
Yeah.
Later, he became the governor of Minnesota.
That's right. He did. All right. I read that you were the first wrestler to use a move called the Senton Bomb and another one called the Moonsault. What were the moves, and did you invent them yourself?
Yes, I invented the moonsault right after I saw Tiger Mask do it in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What about the Senton Bomb?
Yes, I invented that move right after I saw Jimmy Snuka do it.
Okay, Jimmy Snuka.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Superfly. He's passed away, isn't he?
Everybody's dead.
Yeah, everybody's
Except you and I.
Yeah, we're the last two, right? All right. You once wrestled in a full knight's armor. What was that about?
I used to rack my brain trying to figure out a gimmick that would get over. And, it's harder than you think because the people have seen everything.
Right.
So I always was a fan of Camelot, okay? The Broadway musical.
Right.
And I could do several of the songs for you, but I like you too much. And so I bought, for $1,800, I bought a full set of theatrical armor, which was very light. Not really armor at all.
Right.
But it looked like armor on the stage. If I had it to do over again, I would have gone all the way and got myself a custom-made real set of armor. But I didn't. I took the $1,800 way out. Looked pretty good on TV. And then I used it on TNT Tuesday Night Titans, when I wrote a poem. And Vince says, "All right, I don't like the armor, but the poetry's great. From now on, you do a poem before every match."
Oh, right.
And I went, "Yes!"
Yeah, right.
I didn't say that in front of him. I acted blasé.
Yeah, right.
But inside, that 12-year-old boy went, "Yes!" Because a wrestler without a gimmick is no wrestler at all,
Right.
So then Howard Finkel got an idea. They're going to have a bunkhouse battle royal in every town. He wanted me to dress in the suit of armor. Well, I made a mistake wearing the helmet because everybody was going boom, and I went blah, 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 blah. So I finally got smart, took the helmet off, remembered who hit me, and I went around with the helmet in my hand going bang,
Yeah, right.
bang. And of course, it wasn't a real weapon, but they say, "Hey, what was that?" I said, "That's a receipt for what you did to me."
Yeah.
Because trust me, it hurt.
Yeah, I bet. The echo on it. All right.
So you got to get them back, otherwise they'll take advantage of you.
Well, I also know that you wrestled against the late, great Andre the Giant, and you were eliminated from a battle royale when the Giant headbutted you, causing you to bleed profusely and have to be taken out of the... Profusely, and have to be, thank you, and have to be taken out of the ring on a stretcher. That was real. That wasn't, I think he made a mistake when he hit you. I heard there were stitches, wasn't there?
It felt about this hard.
Really?
Yes. I had taken a razor blade and sliced my head.
Oh, really?
The supratrochlear vein. And then I'm bleeding all over the place.
Unbelievable.
I put the blade back in my mouth. I go up to Andre and I said, "Ready, boss?" "Ready, boss." Boom! And I couldn't even feel it. I promise you it was like that. And he threw me over the top rope and that felt like that. And then I lay there like a dead man.
Yeah.
And I think all those wonderful people that said, oh, please, Lanny, bleed well for us. Oh, we need Andre to get big for WrestleMania 3. We're going to draw 93,000 people. Oh, you'll do this for us, won't you? And I said, I'll do my best. He says, oh, we need you to do your best. We need a lot of blood. Dick Ebersog, NBC, all these people. Then when I came back and couldn't stop the bleeding, where was my thank you?
Right. You didn't receive a thank you?
No, they're big on please, not big on thank you.
What?
And the only people that cared if I lived or died were Rene Goulet, the agent, Rick Martel, my friend, Macho Man Randy Savage, my brother, and me. I didn't want to die, so they gave me a towel and I put it over my head. And my reward was when they made the card of WrestleMania 3, yours truly was not on it.
Oh, yeah.
So all I got for it was a hole in the head.
Wow. Well, so there was no stitches involved?
Yeah, I got stitches, but
Okay.
not there.
Because I
got them on my own.
Okay, well, I was reading in Wikipedia and they said it was
You
an
can't go by
accident. Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
they just kind of make it up
Those
themselves.
are, yeah, that's like you're doing.
Yeah. It's said now that the reason that your character was changed from Leapin' Lanny to the Genius was because while you were wrestling in Boston, you made a poem up
No.
about one of the
No.
sports teams.
Stop!
Okay.
Okay, when I say no,
Right.
that means you don't know.
Okay.
K-N-O-W-N-O.
Right.
Okay. I was going to be fired as Leaping Lanny. I had been there 5 years. And boy, they gave me the better up job. Lanny, you're a model employee. You're always on time. You're never late. You never miss a shot. And I said, well, we have too many good guys. We need bad guys. We have too many baby faces. We need heels. I said, why don't you make me a heel?
Mm-hmm.
So they said, Chief J. Strongbow says, you can't be a heel. You're too good looking. And I said, well, you're the ugliest man I've ever met, and you were a baby face for many years. So, and everybody laughed, but I didn't laugh. So I said, who am I wrestling today? So I said, I will turn him babyface. I'll be the heel tonight. Then says, if you can do that, we'll talk business. So I go into Boston Garden, and I say, and I had the frisbees in my hand, but I didn't throw them to anybody. I just went, my name is Lanny Poffo. I always know what's up. The Bruins haven't got a chance to win the Stanley Cup.
Ooh.
The Red Sox haven't won in years. I hope they never do. The Celtics are a travesty. The Patriots are too. The people go crazy.
Oh, man.
And then a fan jumps in the ring. But never give a sucker an even break. I clipped him going through the ropes and started the third verse. And then another fan jumped in the ring. This time Boston's finest were in the ring. And they stopped the match. And the commission stopped the match. And the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, said it was a mini riot, so we can't have the match. So I came back to the locker room, and Vince says, well, it looks like you're not as good looking as we thought. Have you thought of a gimmick? I said, yeah, how about Boy Genius, the kid in the class? Oh, Mr. Carter.
Yeah.
He says, I like it. Let's go with it. We'll call you the Genius Lanny Poffo. We'll do 6 vignettes, and then we'll cut the name Lanny Poffo and make you the Genius. That'll be the transition of Leaping Lanny Poffo to the Genius. So I said, nothing doing, Vince. It's my way. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, right.
I went, mwah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
and cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Bone Key is a hard-hitting thriller about paradise gone bad. Bradley West is a semi-wealthy New York City stockbroker who is in the middle of a midlife crisis and in desperate need of a lifestyle change. So what does he do? He drops everyone and everything in his life and moves to Key West, Florida to captain his own shrimp boat. Perfect dream, right? Not for Bradley West. A week later, he has crossed paths and fates with a lovely young island temptress with super deadly baggage, a wealthy treasure boat captain with a dark secret, a hard-nosed detective who would like nothing better than to pin a capital crime on him, and a bloodthirsty modern-day pirate who simply wants him dead. Not exactly the plan Bradley had for a life in paradise, and that's just the beginning. Bone Key hits the ground running and never slows enough to allow you to catch your breath right up to its powerful and explosive end. You can get your copy of Bone Key on Amazon.com books. Joe Nolfo, Joenolfo. I promise you, you won't be sorry. As a genius, you would come out to the ring wearing an academic cap and a gown. You wrote poems to the other wrestlers you were about to face off, like we said before. What's with your association with poetry? You seem to be really deeply involved in it.
Yes, my fifth grade teacher said, Lanny, I want to keep you after class at 3:20. I have something to ask you and something to tell you. I said, what did I do? Because she was gorgeous and I had a crush on her. And we're still friends today.
Oh.
And she says, Lanny, the paper you wrote, Tell Me About Yourself and How I Spent My Summer Vacation, were just wonderful. You could be a great writer. And I went, who, me? And then like Casey and the Sunshine, man, even though the song hadn't been written yet, but baby, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
So I said, if she likes my writing, watch this. So and then twice in my life, I had the opportunity to meet Shel Silverstein. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, he wrote the Johnny Cash song, Boy Named Sue.
Well, my dad had a home when I was 3. Yeah, he wrote that. He wrote The Giving Tree. Go on YouTube, check it out.
Yeah.
He wrote the Unicorn song. Do you know that one?
Yeah, and he had a column in Playboy too for years and years.
He was a cartoonist.
Right.
But I only looked at it for the picture. I mean, for the articles.
Of course. Yeah, me too.
One time my father walked in on me when I was pleasuring myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, if you don't stop, you'll go blind. I said, Dad, I'm over here.
Yeah. On November 25th, 1989, you faced off with the immortal Hulk Hogan. You won that match by outsmarting Hogan and with a little help from Mr. Perfect. Tell us about that night, how you outsmarted the great...
It was shown on November 25th, but it was actually taped on October 31st, Halloween of 1989.
Oh, really?
So they did a thing called post-production editing. So all the boring parts of the match were edited out, I guess, and by the powers that be.
Right.
And this was not live, it was the match that made my career, because it was that one moment that I went from just another wrestler to the nemesis of Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And you can't get any better than that. And from the next 4 months, I was on main events. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that was amazing.
For one brief shining moment, fame, if you win it, comes and goes in a minute.
Yeah, it's a really hilarious match to watch. You did really good. That was your favorite performance, in my opinion. You can watch it on YouTube too if you type in Hogan versus the Genius.
It wasn't my favorite performance. It was my only performance because I have selective amnesia.
Okay.
I want to forget the whole 21 years except that match.
All right. In March of 2015, you returned to the WWE to induct your deceased brother, Randy Macho Man Savage, into the Hall of Fame. There you read a poem and shared some memories of your favorite memories with your brother. And I was hoping that maybe you could honor us with a memory of your brother or a good story.
Yes, as a matter of fact, this is the Hall of Fame ring. And if my father knew how much money that I have turned down to sell this ring, he would roll over in his grave. But the reason I don't do it is because it's not my ring, it's my brother's. I get to wear it, and I love to share it with the fans. We take a picture, I put it up, go ahead, put it on.
Wow.
And then show it to the people, and then take a still shot of this video, and there's you with the Hall of Fame ring, and now you got a keepsake for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because that's the closest thing to the Macho Man that anybody's going to get, the greatest wrestler that ever lived.
Yeah, that is the
And
best.
I went out there and I did this poem. I stand before the Hall of Fame in honor of my brother, who seized each Carpe Diem day with passion like no other. Born Randy Mario Poffo, he became the Macho Man. Randy Savage made it cool to be a wrestling fan. His match with Ricky Steamboat in 1987 was on a scale from 1 to 10, much better than 11. He snapped into a Slim Jim with his iconic voice. He earned a role in Spider-Man, which made his fans rejoice. When the Mega Powers exploded, the storyline was real. Life's too short to hold a grudge. It's time for us to heal. In triumphant jubilation, we celebrate his name. Finally, the Macho Man is in the Hall of Fame. Yay!
Yeah, right. Well, now I know you published a few books. I think 2 books on poetry you published, and you've done a comic too. And I know that you hosted a podcast called The Genius
The Genius Cast.
The Genius Cast with Larry Poffo.
Lanny Poffo.
Lanny Poffo.
Lanny Poffo.
Lanny Poffo.
Think of Fanny.
Yeah, not Fanny. Lanny.
Lanny.
What can we expect to see in the future from Lanny Poffo?
Well, I just got back from Fox News, where I was on the Tom Shalhoub show and the quiz show starring Tom Shalhoub, and I think they like me, and maybe I'll be a Fox News contributor.
That'd be
I'm
nice.
hoping.
Well, you
But I've done about 6 appearances for Fox News, and I would like to do some more.
Yeah, well, you definitely have the voice for the radio or TV personality. You definitely have the
People
great
have
voice.
told me that I have a face for radio and a voice for silent movies.
All right, well, listen, I know you're a busy guy, and so in closing, I'm going to try to see if I can beat an old story of one of them backstage stories, like a barroom brawl. I love the old Andre the Giant drinking stories. You got one you want to share with us?
I got something better than that,
Okay.
Joe.
Okay.
I got something better than that, Joe. And I'm pointing my finger at you, Joe.
Okay.
Here's the deal. Shake hands like Hulk Hogan style.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah, the mega powers. Okay. Yeah, I got something better, Joe.
Okay.
I got a story so beautiful that I'm going to take your heart out of your chest, put it in the blender, and make you drink it.
Ooh,
How's that?
that sounds good. Let's hear it.
A story so beautiful that you might weep. And I'm talking about tears of joy.
Okay.
Okay, it's my birthday. I'm 31 years old. I'm 64 now, but I was 34 then, because it was December 28th, 1985. Where were you?
I don't remember.
Well, I remember every detail. I was in the Buffalo Auditorium, also referred to in Buffalo as the Aud. Buffalo has the worst weather in the United States. Toronto laughs at them because of the lake effect, all that blue, they get all the snow. The snow, I don't want to exaggerate, it was, I don't know how, listen, you know how the story grows,
Sure.
It was a blizzard.
Okay.
No, it was flurries. It was snowing. Okay, let's leave it that way.
Okay. Got it.
I go into the locker room, depressing auditorium, old, it's been demolished. Should have been demolished before that. I go into the locker room. Pat Patterson is there and he says, look what I have to do. Andre the Giant is here. And he's miserable. He doesn't have a deck of cards. He loved to play cards in the dressing room.
Right.
He played rummy, cribbage, and different card games. So he said, I don't know, he's going to be here for several hours. He doesn't have a deck of cards. I don't know what to do. So, in the words of Underdog, when Andre's in trouble, I am not slow. It's hip, 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 and away I go. So I go back up the stairs, and I look for the least attractive groupie I can find. My daughter says, why the least attractive? Because the most attractive would have told me to myself.
Right.
Okay? And she would have said, I said, here's $10. Andre's downstairs. He needs a deck of cards. Please, I can't leave the building. Please go, and as soon as you're done, tell this usher, and he's going to tell me that you're back. She came back, maybe 10 minutes, full of snow, and she wants to give me back my change. I said, keep the change, for crying out loud, something
Right.
for the effort. And it wasn't just a deck of cards. Joe, it was Bicycle, the finest cards in the world.
Absolutely.
Bicycle.
Yes.
For hundreds of years, I don't know how long they've been in business, but it was Bicycle with that trademark, with the beautiful woman on the bicycle.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not some ordinary goofy deck of cards.
Right. Top of the line.
Finest
stuff.
cards. So Andre is seated like you are. I'm standing like I am, but we're about the same height. Him seated and I'm standing.
Yeah.
And I said, and Andre, poor Andre was like this. And I said, Andre, voila. And he looks at me and a little tear comes in his eye. And he says, merci beaucoup, monsieur. And he grabs me here and he
Yeah.
kisses me, and there was not a thing I could do about it. I was genius enough not to do anything about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I wasn't the genius yet, but I was already pretty smart. And from then on, he called me boss man. I was his boss man.
All right.
How's that for a story? I see that you're crying.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I see that you're
That's a
crying
tough
from the
one.
beauty of the story.
That's
Because the milk of human kindness by the quarts in every vein is coursing through you, Joe.
that is true. That is true.
And the beauty of the story has got you.
Is this the only time you've ever told this story? Is this the first?
No, I tell the story every time I go anywhere.
But I mean on camera?
Yeah, I did it on my own podcast.
Dog only.
Ooh, phone. Go ahead and get it if you want.
No, I have. Are we closing now?
Yeah, I'm going to close it right now, everybody. The legend himself, Lanny Poffo, graced us with his appearance here. And Lanny, I want to thank you a lot, sir. And
Yay!
a real pleasure. Thank you, sir.